Yeah, I think a lot depends on how you approach the question of diversity. Do you see it as something that you need to do because everybody else is doing it? Or do you see it as an opportunity to increase the talent pool, to bring in new ideas, new ways of thinking, and help you to enact a culture change? So I think it's important to understand that at the outset. And for those who are at the sharp end of recruiting, it's a natural tendency to recruit what you recognise, what you're used to. So it's about helping those people to understand that actually you've got to look at this differently. Do you see when you get somebody in front of you who is different in some way, is that a question of you think about the things that they can't do, or are you thinking about the things that they can do? And then if you are going to take this on, then you have to think about the recruitment process itself. Will it work for this particular group of individuals? And then when you actually get to employ them, are you making it a welcoming environment which caters for their needs insofar as is possible?
But then also going back to that whole point about attracting women into the shipping industry as a career, and I think there's always a lot of concerns about being a single woman or one of two women on board a male-dominated ship or whatever for safety reasons. But the idea of an all-female ship, or at least 70%, seems to sort of resolve that. Dimitrios, what are your thoughts regarding diversification and the need to embrace that for the industry?
I think it's a solution to the problem. First of all, in order to have an approach to diversity. Regarding the diversity of having more women on board, first of all, we need to create a comfort place to accommodate women in vessels. So it needs, since we are participating in an initiative about planning having more women on board, we need to create facilities into the vessels in order to accommodate more women. So first of all, we need to take some actions for this. Laundry is also a concern on this. So we need to identify all these details in order to create comfort accommodation for vessel of board. And then to go to the women talent pools, where we can find women talent pools, and communicate we have created for them. Because for the moment, in a specific type of vessels, it's very difficult to accommodate women on board. And following this, we need to create some strong policies and to train all of our seafarers and people in the office regarding diversity, inclusion, all of these very important issues, because it's a matter of culture in the end.
Iris, let me just get your thoughts on this, and certainly the enthusiasm within the Philippines market as well for women seafarers to come on, or to go into the shipping as an industry. What are your thoughts?
I agree with Yanis that we really have to create a framework, because you just don't plunge or throw women on board and expect it to work out. There has to be a proper framework which has to be studied and considered very well. We cannot afford mistakes coming out of it. One, it's going to be, it's not going to be a pretty sight. Number two, also, mentorship is very critical. Like there has to be a personalized approach when you bring them into the work environment, and of course a plan outside of ship life on board, because there is always a consideration of wanting to have a family, and we have seen that among Filipinos. There's a strong need also to have children, and they cannot have them pregnant on board. So that transition has to be carefully worked out by each company. It cannot be ignored, even if the policymakers in the organization are largely men. That has to be recognized and not to be taken as a disadvantage of the woman or a disability, because this has to be carefully planned and accepted